music that had an increased beat.
Yeah.
So that her feet could
basically,
keep pace with the music. And so she was specifically seeking out music with a certain beat per minute to increase her run time.
Yeah.
Which, like, that's why I brought all of that up.
No, it's funny you mentioned like beats per minute because they even look at classical musical pieces and they look at they look at the average resting heart rate and they look at the tempo that certain pieces were written in. And I don't know if it's Beethoven or just like them like matching the heart rate, or there's the physiological rhythmic response that it literally you get connected to it, like
the
literally
trick is
physically.
Not to accidentally hit the brown note right in the middle, though.
Yeah, and that's your intention.
The brown note, you always run into that issue, though. You could unexpectedly hit the brown note if you work too hard.
Yeah. So repetition, a music-specific mechanism, repetition versus change, right? That's awesome. Expectation, prediction, and surprise. So it's you're expecting a song or a note or sequence of notes to end somewhere. And then, when you get there, just the payoff and the dopamine response that you basically get. And there's something called a value of prediction error, where the value corresponds to precision or incentive salience, right? So I guess there's models to where you are anticipating it to be something and it ends up not being that, and obviously the lesser effect, or there's the where you weren't anticipating it and then it does pay off in a way, so again there's like the hot spot of syncopation with change, and it's yeah. And then kind of getting back to we started out with extra musical mechanisms, so the role of internal or external context. So that would come the memories and experiences, right?
Where it's like you hear something that you didn't care about in a moment that was like highly poignant to you.
Right.
And it's like, I remember I hated that song my entire life, but in that moment I heard it and it was like, man, this is my favorite song in the world.
Or like at a funeral, or if there's a song you and a friend had and then they passed, or, there could be any number of reasons, right? So visual imagery.
Like that, Brent? Any songs like that?
You can't stand to hear because of some.
Or they just hit you or it's like
whether you're happy, sad.
Like when I need to feel something, it's like I like to. He's a huge 9 Inch Nails.
Oh, dude!
Stuff like that's like
Nine
Inch favorite band, bro.
Dude, 9 Inch Nails, man. It's funny. I've been listening to them the last week. I've liked them a long time, dude. But going back, "Right Where It Belongs" is one of the best songs.
That's his favorite.
That's one of the best songs ever written, dude.
Hands down.
"Right Where It Belongs."
That was a really, really good fucking song, and it was off of a later album.
I know, right?
Yeah, no.
But dude, I feel like, and it's crazy how old that is now.
Yeah, so I'm sure it was like everybody's got one, or something, they just like queue up, and it's like, even if it makes you sad, it's not even like, it's like, yeah, it makes you sad.
Dude, I love it when music makes me sad.
Yeah. But it's like a good sad.
Like a lot of my favorite music is stuff like that.
Man, like
if you, I'll give you a few examples of like snippets of songs that really move me, but I'll just move to a couple of a little bit more of the science, not too much more, just because it gets nutty. But self-awareness aspect, we won't worry about that. So the individual, right? So the individual component, which is obvious, is can science assess the phenomenology of subjective experience, right? Effective responses to music are a subjective experience, right? So basically everyone, they might be similar, but it's still subject to each individual. And familiarity and expertise might change the way music is processed by an individual. And there's even personality and genes. So
it's going to change how you see the picture just through your own personal perspective.
But also if you're raised in people identical.
Yeah, where it's like, how does somebody look at that? You just like, oh, I see the